Hello everybody and welcome back. This is part 2 of the settings menu. Alright, before we get started, I'm going to do some cleanup stuff. I'm going to go to my volume settings and I'm going to adjust their colors. Now, there's a left side and a right side. So if I hit play and I slide this over, so there's a left side setting and a right side setting. So I'm going to set that. Alright, the left side is the fill. So if I go here, I'm going to make this a darker color. And from my palette, I'm going to use 6C534E. And then the right side actually comes from this background underneath there. And I'm going to do a lighter color. Like that. And I'm going to grab that, copy it, and let me show you what this kind of looks like. So that works for me. Alright, now I'm going to copy that to the other. Let's go to music, drop down, and the background, and paste. And then I want to go to the sound effects, background, and paste. Alright, then I need to go to that fill area, and I need to change that. This is why picking your color palette ahead of time really goes a long way. I used to just pick colors at random and then nothing matched. There. Alright, now let's make sure they're all the set. Okay. Alright, I'm going to close those all up because they're pretty good. I'm going to go to this back button and I'm going to change the text to say back to main menu, and then I'm going to have to make that bigger. Make sure it's still in the middle. Yep. Okay, I can change that color. Let's grab that. Oh, you know what? Let's go back. Oop, I forgot I got to scroll down. All right, the normal color is going to be the red. And that was 875053. I don't know if I like that. Let's make the text white. And then if I hover over that, I'm going to change the color to the light brown. And if I press it, I'm going to change the color to the, oh, I already did that, the dark brown. Let's do the dark. You know what, actually I want to do the green. Alright, then remember, always test this stuff out, make sure you're okay with it. Yeah, so when I put my mouse over it, and there's a change. Alright. That's weird how that's stuck like that, though. Try that one more time. And it's because of the pressed, or the disabled color. Let's grab this one. And I don't know if it's this one. Let's see. Nope, it was selected. Dope. All right. that one back to white. See if that fixes it. Yep. Nice. All right, then I'm going to mess with these little handles on the slider. So I'm going to go to the master volume and handle, and I'm going to change that like that. Oop, I don't want that. I want just the handle. Going to eyeball this one. And you can change the color of these too. So if I go to the handle, I don't think black is appropriate, but all right, there was a blue in my palette. Let's grab that. Keep everything the same. Ah. All right, and that was 5386 A5. Grab that. And same thing here. Handle. Paste. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, that works. All right, there's one more piece of housekeeping we need to do, and that is for the graphics setting. And that stuff is kind of built into Unity for you already. If you go to Edit, Project Settings, and then Quality, you can see that the quality settings are already kind of there for you. So there's a very low, and there's an ultra, and you can kind of like see like what is different in those. Usually it's like the pixel light count or the anti-aliasing, that kind of stuff. So we're going to get rid of the very low and just hit the trash can, and that'll go away. And we're going to get rid of the ultra because there's not really a whole lot of difference between the ultra other than you get one extra light count. So we're going to drop that. And we'll just do low, medium, high, and very high. I like to keep very high because it has the anti-aliasing in case they have that. Although I don't think they will need it for this game. So make sure you've got those 4 settings, and then we'll tap into those with some scripts. All right, I'm going to close this stuff up. And close the canvas. And then down here, anywhere in the hierarchy, we're going to right click and we're going to create an empty. And we're going to call this the Settings Manager. And we're going to use this to attach the script to so we can then access all these different functions. All right, folks, apparently my understanding of the audio mixers was off. Like I thought the master controlled the other ones, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Like, let me show you an example. So this is all hooked up now, and you see there's no master. I got rid of that. If I hit play. All right, I added a sound effect, and I attached it to the sound effect master. And then I have a music thing that I put the music in. So now I can adjust these. But when I adjust them, you see that the child ones kind of affect the parent. So here's the master, and it's being affected by the child. Same thing with the music. But if I edit this and play, when I adjust the master, none of these get adjusted. So, and I'm looking around and I can't find anything that shows like control the master and the child objects. It's either you control the children or you control the master. So I'm going to kind of show you both ways. So get rid of your master, move the other two up, and when you move them up, if you grab the parent, like the, let's go audio. So that's audio title. If I grab the music volume and then I hit the adjust, this will grab both. So as long as you grab the parent object, it'll move both the parent and the child. And then you can make your back to main menu button even bigger. All right, the first step for these audio mixers is you have to make their volume variable exposed to a script so the script can activate it. So if I go here and if I click on background music and I go here to the volume, I can right click and you can see it says expose volume to script. And if I hit that, now I got a parameter down here and I'm going to rename that by right clicking, and I'm going to call this music volume. So if you're going to use my scripts, you're going to need to name this parameter music volume the same as I did. Then we're going to go to the sound effects. You can see right now we only have one exposed. And I'm going to go to the volume and I'm going to right click and I'm going to expose that. And then I'm going to go find it and rename it. And this is going to be sound effects volume. So now that they're named, we should be good. I can go back to the project settings. Now we're going to hook everything up. So you need to go to your scripts folder and you need to create a new script called resolution control. All one word, no spaces. Resolution control. And then if I open this up, we'll kind of go through this. First, now I still have the master. Like, let's say you didn't want to do like a background and a music. You didn't want to have two separate audio sliders. You just wanted to have one for everything. I've left that in here. So first you would need this line here. And these are the namespaces. These are like libraries that contain functionality for things so that we don't have to like code every little thing. Like if we want to send something to the screen, some of that stuff is already built into the Unity engine library, so we don't have to do that stuff. So if you're ever doing anything with UI, you have to add the UI library. And if you're doing anything with scene management, like our back button, you have to add the scene management. If you're doing stuff with audio mixers, you have to add the audio library. You get the idea. All right, so that's what that is. All right, and then this next section, these are our variables. So this is where we declare variables to hold different data. And we declare this right after the class, and that way they're globally available anywhere in the script. If I create a variable inside a function, like if I created a variable here, it would only be available inside that function. But if I create variables out here, they're available anywhere in the script. Okay, what these variables do is this variable creates a array, and an array is a collection of data of the same type, like a collection of integers, or a collection of decimal values, or a collection of colliders, that kind of stuff. So it's a collection of items that are the same type. So the type has to be the same. So in this case, we're going to grab all the different resolutions that are supported on the player's computer. And then we're going to find the ones that we're going to grab his current refresh rate. And we're going to say, give me the resolutions that are on this refresh rate. And then that's what we're going to present to the player in our dropdown. Now, again, if you're only mixing one audio mixer, you need to include this line here, obviously without the comment. So if I do that, then it becomes active. So if I comment stuff out, oh, really? You think I'd be better at that? If it's green like that, like it doesn't count. So it's more of a comment stuff. And it's a good idea to comment your code so you know, like, you know, where these things are and what they do. All right, so again, if you're doing the two child mixers, you don't need this. So I'll take that out. But if you're just doing one, you need to do that. Okay. All right. The start function runs one time at the creation, whenever the script is first created. So it's attached to a game object. Whenever that game object is instantiated, start runs. So you can see what it does is it goes and grabs that array and it starts filtering stuff and says, hey, give me your current refresh rate on the monitor and then give me all the different resolutions that are supported on this refresh rate. And it gets all that stuff in numbered form because they're all stored as integers or numbers. So our drop down shows text. So we need to convert that to a string. And a string is just a group of letters. So that's what this section does. And then we need to populate our drop down. And that's what this section does. All right, once that's done, we have a couple different functions. So this function will use the Unity built-in stuff, and it'll pull the resolutions. This is if you just want to set that master slider instead of the two children. Let me get rid of that. clean it up. This is to set up the full screen. Again, that's kind of built into Unity. This is to go to those quality settings that we talked about, that low, medium, high, ultra high. And then this is for scene management to go back to the main menu. So we've got all these different functions that we're going to link to the different properties on the screen. So I'm going to save that and wait for that to load. Then I'm going to go to my settings manager, and it's going to give me the drop down for the resolution. So if I go here and I look for my resolution text, there's my resolution drop down. I'm going to drag that in there. And now if I hit play, all my resolutions show up. And again, these are all pulled from the computer, the player's computer, and they're all functioning at the player's current refresh rate. All right, then at this point, it's just like the main menu. So if I go to the resolution drop-down and I scroll down, there's this on value changed. I hit plus. I grab the settings manager where we have that script attached. I'm sorry, I don't know if I mentioned this, but you make sure you put the resolution control script on the settings manager. Go back to that, scroll it down, and put the settings manager in. And then I go to the resolution control function, and this is set resolution. And that will make sure that gets set. Then if I go to my graphics drop down, and I do the same thing, I'm going to add something. I'm going to drag the settings manager there. I'm going to link to our script resolution control, and then I'm going to set quality. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the full screen toggle. Add my settings manager. Go to my function, and I want to look for set full screen. Yep. And now if I hit play, let me change this to play maximized so you can kind of see it. Oh, I'll need to set those manually. But now, theoretically, if I build this out, this will work. Let me turn this stuff down. It's kind of loud. Oh, I haven't set that up yet, duh. All right, now they're all working except for that graphics option. So if I go to the graphics option and go down here, remember we had 4 of these options, and I'm going to add a 4th by hitting that little plus. And then I'm going to change this. Remember, it's going to be low, and then medium, and don't misspell these because that shows terrible attention to detail, and then very high. And you don't have to do anything with these sprites, just leave those blank, and now we should be set. So now if I hit play, we should get our options. I set that to high. All right. And now theoretically, once you get in the game and you change those, it should actually change the graphics settings. Like that should be linked to that drop down. All right, now let's test this out. So let me let this fire off. Now the resolutions are only going to work in the build settings. Toggle's only going to work when we build it out. But let's check the graphics settings. So if I go to project settings, and here's where it gets kind of weird. So here's my 4 settings down here. If I go to, like right now, it's showing medium, but I'm on low. But if I put my mouse over here and I hit the F5 for refresh, all right, let's change that to high. And you see this went to high. And if I go back to low, it went to low. Apparently it's just really slow moving. And I don't know why that is, but for some reason it doesn't like the, there it goes, medium. And very high. Yeah, I don't know what the delay is, and I've read there's a lot of stuff like a lot of people have problem with this linking correctly. But yeah, we'll just call it a Unity bug and go from there. All right, now we need to get that back button working. So same thing, we're gonna scroll down, add this, add the settings manager, and go to resolution control, and we want back to main menu. I thought that's what we called that. There it is, back to main menu. All right, then we're going to test that out. And back, and yep, and go to settings. All right. All right, so I'm going to bring up that resolution control script one more time. So you guys can make sure you copy it down. I'm going to get rid of this because I don't have that stuff in there. So now, like, we don't have any audio settings in the script. And let me kind of shrink that a hair so you can see the whole thing. And there's the bottom. All right, now with that done, we're going to make a audio manager. So I'm going to close that canvas up, and you're going to right click, create empty, and you're going to call it, we'll just call it audio manager. And this one can have a space. And once we have that, you need to create a new script and call it audio manager. Same thing, but this one will not have a space in the name. And when you have that, double click. And you can see we're going to do audio stuff and we're going to attach stuff to the UI. So both those need to be in there. All right, so first I'm going to create 3 fields in my, they're going to be private fields, but they're going to show up in the inspector. So serialized field says, hey, even though this is private, show up in the inspector. And that way I can add the master mixer and I can add the sliders for the 2 things. And then remember when we renamed those unexposed variables, that's where those come into play. And then at start, we're going to set the volume to wherever the volume sliders are. And then we're going to link those to here. Now, the way the audio stuff works, you have to, it's like a logarithmic value. So that's why that log 10 is in there. And then we can play with the different sliders. So that's the entire script. So make sure you're good with that. And you got all that in there. And that's fabulous. And wait. Then we're going to go to our audio manager and we're going to grab that script and we're going to attach that. And then we're going to grab for the mixer, there's only one, which is the master. And then we need to put our sliders in there. So I need one for music. And here is the music volume slider. And then I need one. You make sure you get the slider, not the text, the slider. And now we should be good. So now if I play that, I should be able to kill all the sound. And then sound effects. Got some sound effects. Background music. Got some background music. So now we're all set. So I'm going to leave those there and go back to the main menu. Settings, we're good. All right, I still need to check to make sure this resolutions and the toggle work, because remember they don't work in the inspector. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the project out. So I'm going to hit File, Build Settings, and make sure this is set for Windows and you got your scenes all in there. Again, Windows, and I'm going to hit Build. And I'm going to send this to my desktop into a folder, and I'm going to call it Test. And select that folder. And wonder why it's not going. There it goes. And then make sure you save. And give that a minute or 2 and it'll run. Alright, and then you should have a new icon on your desktop for that folder. And inside there, whatever you named your project, it'll have like the little Unity logo. And later on I'll show you guys how to put your own custom icons on there. And we're going to fire that off. And now this will go whole screen so you lose a little bit of it. But there it is. And if we hit Settings, there's our settings menu, and if I change the resolution, obviously that worked. Alright, there. And if I toggle, I don't know if you guys can, you guys probably can't see it because it's too small or too big out of the recording size, but that toggle is working. You kind of see it blinking. And I can turn those off. And we can set the, and go back to main menu. Alrighty. And then in the main menu, we want to hit Quit to make sure our quit. So you can see the quit works now when you're outside the inspector. So we're all set. Everything's working. The only thing that's kind of flaky at this point is that the quality settings, but there's not really a whole lot we can do about that. Alright, the last thing I want to do is, see how we got this blue? That's from the camera. We're going to fix that and make that a different color. So if I go to the main camera and I click on the background for that, I can pick a custom color for the background. Let me try the green and see what that looks like. And again, you'll play with these and get something that works for you. Ooh, I think I like that. So that's kind of cool. So I can go with that, or I can do the red. I'm going to save that because I think I'm going to like that. And let's do the red. Ooh, that's not bad either. Actually, I think I like that better. Ta-da! All right, so now we're all set. We're ready to go, and then we're going to start working on our first scene next time. Woo, that was a handful. All right, if you want an easier version of that, Brackeys has a really nice video from a bajillion years ago that walks through kind of the same thing, using only one slider, one master slider for everything. But again, if this got complicated and I lost you somewhere, just switch over to Bracky stuff and it'll work. All right, other than that, have a great week, folks.